Nadia Battocletti ran the final lap of the women's 5,000 meters final in just 59.2 seconds. Her last 200 meters alone took only 28.2 seconds. That kind of speed belongs in a much shorter race, not the last stretch of a 5,000-meter final at the European Championships in Birmingham. This is the story of how she dropped that hammer and why it shocked everyone watching. For most of the race, nothing looked special. The pace was slow. The pack stayed tight. Runners bunched together and spilled into the extra lanes just to hold their spot. Nobody wanted to lead. Every athlete on that track was saving her legs for one single moment, and none of them knew who would strike first. That moment belonged to Nadia Battocletti. She sat calm in the pack while everyone else jockeyed for position. She waited through every slow lap without panic. Then with one lap left, everything changed. The Dutch runner Maureen Koster, the fastest woman in Europe that season, took the front and tried to break the field apart down the backstretch. For a few seconds, her plan looked like it might work. Then, just before the 200-meter mark, Battocletti made her move. She exploded past the leaders and no one could go with her. The crowd in Birmingham watched a champion turn a slow race into a demolition in less than half a lap. The final time on the clock read 15 minutes and 3,784 seconds. That is not fast by her own standards. She holds the Italian national record in this event at 14 minutes and 23 seconds, more than a full minute quicker than what she ran in Birmingham. But nobody will remember this race for the time. They will remember the way she closed it out. And that gap between her record and her winning time is exactly what makes this so special. She did not need her fastest time to be the best on the day. The only runner who came close to matching that closing speed was Marta Garcia of Spain. She produced a strong final effort of her own and crossed the line in second place. 2 years earlier in Rome, she had taken bronze in this same event. This time she walked away with silver, a clear step forward in her career. Behind her, Italy grabbed a second medal through Miko Maori, who timed her finish well and crossed third. That gave Italy 2 runners on the same podium in the same race. After the finish, Maori joined Battocletti for a victory lap together, celebrating side by side in front of the home crowd. Maureen Koster paid a heavy price for her effort at the front. She had done all the work trying to break the race open. And once Battocletti attacked, she had nothing left to answer. She faded all the way back to 6th place. Leading a championship final for that long always comes with a cost. And on this day, it cost her a medal she looked ready to win just 1 lap earlier. Here is what makes this even harder to believe. Just 2 months before this race, Battocletti finished a disappointing 13th place at a Diamond League meet in Rome. For a runner of her level, that result raised serious questions. Then things got worse. She had to pull out of a race in Monaco completely. The reason was fatigue caused by anemia, a condition that drains energy and makes hard training brutal for a distance runner. A setback like that can end a season before it even gets going. So, when she stepped onto the track in Birmingham, nobody was sure what version of her would show up. There was one bright spot before all of this. Back in February, she won gold in the 30,000 meters at the World Indoor Championships, and she closed that race out with a strong kick, too. It showed her sharpness had not disappeared completely. But indoor racing over a shorter distance is not the same test as an outdoor 5,000-meter final, and it did not fully answer the doubts hanging over her season. She was not even the fastest woman in the field on paper. Maureen Koster had already beaten her once that year in Rome and arrived in Birmingham with the best 5,000-meter time in Europe that season. This was never going to be an easy win handed to her. It was a real fight and Koster had the form to prove it. That is exactly why the final lap hit so hard. A woman who had struggled with her health, who had already lost to her biggest rival that season, who walked in with real doubts around her, produced one of the most dominant closing kicks anyone will see in a championship final. And she is only 26 years old. Many distance runners do not reach their peak until their late 20s or early 30s. If this is what she looks like now, every rival in Europe should be worried about what comes next. To understand why this win means so much, you have to go back 2 years to Rome. At that European Championships, Battocletti did something almost nobody expected. She won gold in the 5000 m and then came back to win gold in the 10,000 m, too, completing a rare double at the same championships. She left Rome with a championship record in the 5000 m that still stood as the mark to beat. That double turned her into the standard every rival in Europe measures themselves against. Her rusum goes even deeper. She won silver in the 10,000 meters at the Paris Olympics. She followed that with silver and bronze medals at the World Championships in Tokyo by winning gold again in Birmingham. She became European champion in the 5,000 meters for a second straight championship. Back-to-back titles in a sport where new rivals rise every year is never a small thing. And this win was not the finish line. 2 years ago in Rome, the 5,000 meters was only half of her double. She followed it days later with gold in the 10,000 meters as well. With the 5,000 now secured in Birmingham, the door was open for her to chase that same double again on a different track in front of a different crowd, carrying the exact same ambition. Whether she could pull it off again would decide if this Birmingham gold was just the beginning of something even bigger. Seville from Thompson. Lyles at last is beaten. Oblique Seville just opened 2026 with a 9.83 and Noah Lyles answered with a 9.95. That is not a rivalry. That is a gap. And if you think that number does not tell the full story, you are music. Right. Because the full story is actually worse for Noah. This is not about one race. This is about a pattern that has been building since September 14, 2025 in Tokyo. And right now, Oblique Seville is making the most famous sprinter in America look like he is running in a different league. Let us go back to Tokyo because that is where this really started. Oblique Seville ran 9.77 and won the World Championship gold medal in the men's 100 meters. Cashine Thompson took silver in 9.82. Noah Lyles, the reigning double world champion, walked away with bronze in 9.89. Think about that for a second. Noah did not get beaten on a bad day by a slightly faster man. He got beaten by 0.112 seconds in the biggest race of the year. While the entire sprint world was watching, Jamaica swept gold and silver. America went home with bronze. And the man who had back-to-back 100-meter world golds in 2023 and 2024 could not close the gap when it mattered most. Now, here is what people forget about that final. Noah is a notoriously slow starter and by 50m he had already given away too much space. By the time he started to move, Oblique was already gone. The commentators watching live said by 25 to 30m. Once you saw Oblique hit his stride and his shoulders relax around 50m, it was over. Noah still got a medal. He is that good. But getting a medal when the man you are supposed to be competing with runs 9.77 is not the same thing as being on his level. It is not even close. And here is the part that makes this even harder for Noah to shake. This was not supposed to happen. Oblique Seville had been fourth at the World Championships in 2022. Fourth again in 2023. He got hurt in the Olympic final in Paris 2024 and did not even finish. He lost twice to Kenny Bednar at Grand Slam track earlier in 2025. Nobody was picking Oblique to win gold. Not even Coach Rob, who went on record saying he believed Music Oblique could get a medal that year, but not gold. The entire sprint community had written a story where Noah Lyles was still the man. And Oblique was the guy who always showed flashes but never delivered on the biggest stage. Then Tokyo happened and every single one of those narratives got erased in under 10 seconds. Now, fast forward to 2026 and Oblique is not sitting on his title, letting people forget. He steps onto the track in Jamaica for his first 100 of the season and drops a 9.83. Hakey Blake was right behind him in 9.88, which means this was not a soft opener against weak competition. Music. Blake made him run. Oblique answered with a 9.83 anyway. Meanwhile, Noah Lyles opens his 2026 season at the Golden Grand Prix in Tokyo and wins in 95. Gout ran 9.97 at the Shanghai Diamond League. Those are decent early season marks from serious athletes. Music. But Oblique's 9.83 is faster than both of them combined into one conversation. The world champion is using his warm-up race to post times that neither Noah nor anyone else has matched yet in 2026. This is the part where people try to say it is early and nobody reads too much into May times. That is fair, but 9.83 in May is serious in any month. That is not a number you file away. That is a number that makes the rest of the field sit up and start asking uncomfortable questions. Because if Oblique is already here in his first race, where does he end up when Diamond League season peaks? Where does he end up when the pressure is real? That question does not have a comfortable answer for Noah Lyles right now. The honest reality when you look at who can actually beat Oblique Seville on any given day is a short list. Con Thompson is probably the closest thing to a 50-50 threat, but Con has now finished second at both the Olympic final and the World Championship final. His talent is undeniable, but the narrative around him is that somebody always edges him out when the gold is on the line. Trayvon Bromell has one-off potential. That 9.84 he ran at the Rome Diamond League last year was real, and his indoor season was the best of his career. He can catch a flyer. Noah can too. But you would need to see something first before you could pick him over this version of Oblique. Music. Everyone else, including Christian Coleman, Kenny Bednar, and Jordan Anthony, are not at that level against Oblique right now. The jury is out on Jordan. He has the talent, but we have not seen it consistently enough to make that call. What makes this genuinely difficult for Music Noah is that his entire brand, his visibility, his push to get a signature shoe from Adidas, all of that only works when he is the face of the event. When Oblique Seville is running 9.77 at Worlds and 9.83 to open the following season, Noah is not the